Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. One-on-one.
All right, Dave Harris of Retro Rewind here, sitting down with one of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time. Not a bad little producer either. It's Lionel Richie. And Lionel, I noticed that you're eating a little bit of something right there. What is that?
I am eating, this is what it calls survival meal. The company gives you, one of the greatest things in the world. Dough, cranberry juice, and fruit. Greatest prison rations, just enough to keep your blood sugar up. Will do nothing for your overall general health, but we satisfied the code where it said we fed him.
Yep, yeah, absolutely, right. All right, well, it's been a little bit of time between albums. What the heck have you been doing with yourself all this time?
Massive writing and camping and experimenting, which has been probably the life's blood of why I do what I do. I'm one of those guys that I like to go out and find out what's in the community of music. Where is everybody? Who's the great writers? Who are the great producers? Hang with them, write with them, check them out. And vice versa, let them check out what I'm doing, see we can compare notes, what's going on. And it's really been quite interesting because I discovered something while I was on this journey, and that is that the old sound is the new sound. The old style is the new style. Actually, I was working with Rodney Jergens, and they actually told me and reminded me more about my career than I could remember. That's really not an impossibility, but these guys named off records and lyrics to songs that I had forgotten all about, and I wrote them. And I was with the Commodores when I did them, and I must tell you, they remembered every concert. And I kept thinking, how old were you? You weren't even in the audience. Oh man, we saw the footage. We had the tape, Commodore Live. And I forgot there was a Commodore Live. They told me every note. Brian Rawlings, the guys who wrote Believe and all of it, Enrique Iglesias stuff. And I realized they studied every note. So it was interesting to sit with them and figure out, so what's coming down the pipe? And what's coming down the pike is 1980, 1979, all over again. That's what's happening, from the clothes to the music. And it was just interesting to kind of get into the flow. That's what this album was all about. It was a discovery. I went in to play around with Brian Rawlings and some of the writers over there, Mark Taylor and Paul Berry. And I realized that we are writing songs that I would have written for the Commodores in the same spirit. They're looking for that kind of, that place, that space. It was when someone said to me, what do you think about these boy bands? And I said, you mean the Jackson 5? Oh, you mean the Commodores? Oh, you mean the Temptations? In other words, every generation is going to have its boy band. It's just what little hybrid would you like to put on it? The Beatles, the little boy band to start off with, it just happens to go around the corner. And so we're back again, but really what's been happening is I've been doing research, just playing around, checking it out.
Mm-hmm. And you just mentioned the guys that were responsible for Cher's biggest hit, Believe. How did you go about getting, working with these guys? Did you just hear her song and say, yeah, that's it, that's the sound I'm looking for, those are the guys I'd like to work with?
Actually, I put a feeler out. I threw it out by saying, writers. Who are the writers? Who are the new writers on the block? And these guys, Paul Berry and Mark Taylor, came up right away. And then I said, so what have they done? That's when you get the list. Pretty impressive list. Let's check them out. Now, I was supposed to go over to write one song. 6 songs later, it was rolling. And these guys, you got the sense of they know what they're doing. So it makes it easy when you're working with a pro. These guys were sharp as a tack and just ready to go. And yes, some of their credentials were impressive, but more so the potential of what they were going to do next. They were not there yet. They were on the come, if you will. They're not quite there yet. And I love writers when they're just about there. Rodney Jergens, for example, just in his stride when I walked in the door. Hadn't put out Destiny's Child thing yet, but he played it for me while we were there, just to say, this is where I'm coming, what we're getting ready to get into. It was really fascinating to watch someone with the same enthusiasm but yet innocence of really not knowing just how powerful they are yet, because they're still discovering, oh my God, I can write that. Now years from now they go back and say, well, how do we do that? But right now they don't know any better. All they know is it's automatic. This is the best time to write.
Tell me how you approach writing and recording each album, because it seems like every album is sort of different. Like you take some chances, you try to do some things different. You don't always follow the same formula, right? Every album you have to let go. You cannot approach an album as the legendary or as the great songwriter. Forget all that stuff. You have to. There's a certain vulnerability that you have to go, I've never put out a record before in my life. That means I have nothing to protect. Write a song. Now, if you can approach it from that angle in its absolute pureness, you'll get songs like All Night Long. You'll get songs like Three Times a Lady, which they don't apply to radio. They absolutely do not fit radio. Put it out. And now you've tapped into something that's absolutely amazing, because it's a great combination of Sail On made Lionel Richie believable in country. Also made the Commodores believable in another genre. All Night Long made me believable in a world beat. And it takes you out of those boxes. And this record right here is, like you said, fresh box. Who am I afraid of? Obviously nothing. I didn't try to do a category here because, if you go back and think of would a group do that? No. Would a single artist do that that's black? No. Does it fit the R&B charts? No. Does it kind of fit the pop charts? Yeah. But what's he doing that? In other words, Lionel, what are you trying to do? Good. Put all that out, because that means I'm muddying up the boxes. That's when you're doing it correctly. You're not writing for a specific box. Right.
And that's where you feel that little jittery freshness, because it is frightening. What are you doing, man? What is that about? Where are you going? All these little questions come into mind, and I like it when I put the record out. I'm not quite sure about it. Everyone says, "Oh my God, how could you not be sure about Three Times a Lady?" It was in the middle of disco.
Right.
Or take it to R&B. Take it to R&B radio, or waltz at R&B radio. I think you'd be a little nervous. Sure. Well, this one is a little, I like it when you get that little tingle. They're great melodies, you love the songs, but what do they fit? I don't know. Good. That means put it out, let's see what it does. So there is no guarantee. You just know that people can sing along with it the first time around, but it's got to stick. That's the answer.